Hey guys, Ryan here and welcome to a progress report for my second world. Now, I said next week in that stream, I think, or the day after. I honestly have no clue at this point in time. That stream is the last stream for a very, very long time. I am now on computer with Minecraft and I've actually made a lot of progress. Now, I didn't realms my world over. Actually, if anything, the dead giveaway for me using realms to copy my world over would be that there'd be a shipwreck right over there somewhere. There isn't. So, in terms of progress report, we'll actually start inland, we'll work our way offshore. Now, real quick, most of the ships on this world, which is all but 3, I will show you those 3, are created by Garrett 2x4. There's another further 3, of which are his, that I'm not going to show you because there are no tutorials out on those ones yet. I mean, nothing's stopping me from showing you guys. I'm just doing it out of respect. Yes, they are going to make screen time, but it'll be from a distance. So we'll get right on into the world progress story. So this was all forest, as y'all remember on PS4. When I loaded in, it was pretty much the same deal. That's a handy command right there, okay. So I cleared out the forest and I built the tank farm. Not exactly in order of operations because, I kind of built the port first after putting in a rhyme, but the tank farm is done. It is a 2.5 million barrel facility. So it holds 2.5 million barrels of bunker C. And it's still not finished completely. As you see, the road just pretty much stops. I want to change it. I either want to have it paved, go all the way to one end, and have the paved section loop back on itself with dirt tracks coming off towards each of these tanks, or just have it come into a centralized fueling area. This tank farm's not done in the slightest. If you do load up this seed, you will see caves. I went ahead and filled mine in as evidence by right here. There'd be more entrances over that way, and there's not. Well, this road is our longest road by far in terms of distance. So, yeah, the port road, it just turns and then turns again, and then it turns, and then it goes into the roundabout. We're not counting that road because it essentially comes up, turns again, and it dead ends. This road is actually the longest. So, here we have the power station. There's a redstone clock at the base. None of these buildings except for... Actually, no, none of these buildings except for that one have anything in them. This one has a redstone clock at the base, and it's literally just a chain of redstone torches all the way up. Cookie cutter house design because it's easy to mass produce this style, and I can change it later, making it more unique individually. I have a lighthouse, which is kind of important. Same exact style as my old world too. And then what I did is I worked with the terrain a bit. I'm not good with working terrain. I am better at building bridges. So this was actually really fun to do and whatnot. Giving the building a rock base was also fun, but the roundabout's actually really easy to do. I just averaged out where I want sections of 5 to make my connections. And then I connected them up in an almost diagonal manner which makes it in turn a pseudo roundabout. And then to make it seem like it's overgrown and under-maintained because of the fence around the center, I added a lone tree in the dead middle, followed by bone mealing the area around it. Over here we have a cafe. This cafe follows the same building style as over here. And even though out here it looks mighty fine and whatnot, in here is completely empty and the truss design is actually completely different too. Here's the inside of what all the houses look like at this moment in time, except for maybe mine because I didn't do this in 1.19. I did these four in 1.19, same with that one and most of these other ones. I backdated thinking that it would allow me to put the fence gates underwater, and no, that failed. Which, by the way, if anyone knows how to put fence gates underwater while having them waterlogged, that'd be great. Okay, so from a distance I can show you one of these ship's rows. We're gonna kind of work this way now. So the two carriers there, I'm not gonna name drop. I'm pretty sure some of y'all can identify them right off the bat, but they are from World War II, I will say that much. And if you're really good with your World War II ship classes, you'll understand why there's two of the exact same class. Then we got Enterprise and Belfast next to each other. Now, if you're a player of Azure Lane, you'll understand that hint and why Belfast is next to Enterprise, at least I would hope. So you should have an easier time of guessing those two carriers. Over here, I also have two destroyers, so I have a destroyer squadron and a half. One of them I can't name drop, the other one I can literally name drop as Laffy. And it's Benson class Laffy, not Sumner Laffy. Just to make that distinction. Over here I have Bismarck and two poorly placed cranes. What happened is I placed the cranes first, because I didn't know how big Bismarck was going to be relative to the area I was giving her, so that was solved. Now, shortly before the world corrupted, I had Jamestown, California, Helena, Atlanta. Kind of in a row of four. I was, excuse me, I was going to have a third before I went and built some dry docks. Right now we're still on just the Jamestown class cruiser, so difference between this version of the Jamestown and the previous version is this version is nuclear. Which explains the lack of exhausts. I will say that working with a nuclear powered ship is actually a lot easier because you don't have to worry about stacks or anything, but I do prefer having to work with the stacks or funnels. Over here we have Orion and Prince Eugen. Now Bismarck and Eugen are both modernized. A ship that is not modernized, but y'all can get an example of what an unmodernized ship looks like is Warspite here. Gotta remember my keys. Where she's still using the dark oak, the skeleton skull, and the light gray. I'll be changing her over to deep slate and the withered skeleton skull in a bit. But Prince Eugen is the best excuse, not excuse, best example of a modernized ship. I went with the World of Warships camo, if anyone wants to know what I'm doing in terms of the coloration pattern. Essentially, it's her Baltic camo. I just made the crane match and I changed the color of the plane. Over here is actually completely comical, okay? You got the big three, the big popular three. Tirpitz, New Jersey, and Musashi. Oh my lord, give me a minute. Okay, just emergency vehicles passing. So, back to what I was saying. You could supplement the names. I just went with other names. So, originally we have Iowa, Bismarck, Yamato. That's Texas, okay? The big three with Texas. Here we have a destroyer squadron. This is the only destroyer squadron at the moment. So we got Z-46, the Sullivans, and Fubuki. Or in this case, we got Z-46, because it's my case. Z-46, the Sullivans, and we got Ayanami, followed by the Wisconsin-class destroyer Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a DDG, by the way. She doesn't have vertical launch tubes, instead she carries 2 anti-ship missiles. And you know what? While we're here, I'll just fix something. Because it's bugging me. Whenever I'm over here, I mean to fix it, and I usually don't. Okay, I gotta remember how to do this. Do that. Then that. Okay, I think I got the hang of it now. There we are. So yeah, like the Wisconsin here, or like the Solvents here, which is where the Wisconsins get a lot of their inspiration. There's 2 on the front, 3 in the back. The only difference between the Wisconsins and the Fletchers is notice the distance. You got 1 block, there's 2. Also the Fletchers, at least from what I can see, no, those might be representing the torpedo launchers. I got a different style. And then the last carrier I actually built on my old world would be the X6 class. I think this one is Lexington. Yeah, I think CV-16 is Lexington. I know that if anyone's playing Azure Lane, you're excited for CV-10 and 12, at least sub a little bit. Okay, more skins. I'm just excited to have a UR carrier myself, another UR carrier. Because that means I can have one in each of my 2 main fleets. So I said in the previous cut, before I was rudely interrupted by a train, that I would show you Yamato next to Orion. Well, this is actually where things get fun. We gotta go to another world. We gotta go to my development world. And this is pretty much where I build everything. Yamato Hull is credited to Garrett 2x4. The modifications are my own. No, I will not be releasing a tutorial until I am done. But you can see some of the ships, okay? That's obviously Orion. This is obviously Orion. That's obviously Orion. So this is kind of like a sneak peek. Um, working on a camo job for Orion. That version will not be coming out as a tutorial, but I will be making a tutorial on Orion. And I will be teaching you in said tutorial on how to convert her into Sagittarius. I will not be releasing a tutorial for this because it still needs work, but this is another Nova class hull, so Nova class battleship times 2, then a Nova class aircraft carrier. I wonder where the inspiration is. Here is something I just recently got done with. No, this will not be coming out as a tutorial, but it's weird, okay? You can see a lot of Yamato in it. So what I will do is load in Orion. Where are you? You are there, okay. It usually takes me a minute. So that is Orion, for reference. Because I have a feeling that she'll be the same direction. Nope. And we'll have to forgive the water. Okay, almost exactly bow to bow, but there's Yamato for you. There's Orion. Granted, Yamato's kind of sticking out on the front of a block or two, but still you can get an accurate size representation. By the way, they're the same width. 9 blocks. They only ever get bigger. Whereas Orion is a quarter larger than Yamato. This class of battleship here, which I'm calling the Nebula, is maybe an eighth larger than Orion. Get rid of those two. And the rigging is an absolute mess. But you know, it works. So with that, I'm actually gonna go back into the old world this world because this is where I actually want to be, because I need to do an infrastructure project to keep catching up. And with that, I will see you guys in the next progress report, which hopefully we will have Route 1 reaching up there somewhere. Hopefully. See you on the next one.